So, since many of you may find yourselves moving to Canada after this year's upcoming presidential election, I thought I would take this time to tell you about some of the differences between Canada and the United States. First of all, Canada has provinces and territories instead of states. We also spell words differently, have different holidays, we have different sporting preferences, and we also eat a few different kinds of food. So first of all, we have provinces and territories instead of states. Canada has 10 provinces: Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Prince Edward Island, Ontario, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Alberta, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and Quebec. I'm from Ontario, which is the most southern one on the bottom there, and I'm from like that little peak on the bottom. So pretty much the most southern part of Canada. Canada also has 3 territories, which are Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Now, when you think of Canada, people often joke about the fact that we live in igloos and ride polar bears to school. People may do that in the territories, which are the most northern parts of Canada, but not where I'm from. We have pretty mild temperatures. Secondly, we spell words differently. In Canada, we tend to add U's into words such as color, favorite, neighbor, and labor. So if any professors have noticed, if I've written an essay on a test, I spell words differently. We also switch the E's and R's around in words like meter and center, and this is because our second language is French, and that's how they spell those things. Thirdly, we have a couple different holidays than here in the States. Thanksgiving is actually this second Monday in October, so it's going to be next week, so I'm going to be here for that. Thanksgiving in the States is the 4th Thursday in November, so that's a difference. On November 11th, we celebrate the end of World War I, which is Remembrance Day. So each province and territory has different laws about if they get the day off or not. So I looked up in Ontario, according to timeanddate.com, employers are not required to give their employees the day off, although many do. So I recall years in school when I both got it off and then some years when I didn't. So it's actually the same in the States, except it's called Veterans Day, but you guys celebrate the same thing. There are a couple different sports that people think of when they think of Canada. Hockey is the big one. Many people believe it to be the national sport of Canada because it's so widely played in Canada and we tend to excel at it. It's actually not the national sport of Canada, but we will get to that. Curling is also one of the most popular sports in Canada. There are many restaurants that'll be like in a curling place, so you can look down on the curling rink and watch that while you eat breakfast. The first club was formed in Montreal in 1807, and it is the most televised women's sport in Canada, according to Canadian Encyclopedia. Lacrosse is actually the national sport of Canada. You may not think of it as such because everyone thinks of hockey so widely, but it was actually invented by the Indians that are there today, so it was confirmed as the national sport in 1994. And this is according to the Canadian Encyclopedia as well. We also have different foods that we like to eat in Canada. Poutine is a very popular dish, especially in Quebec. Now you might think this picture looks absolutely disgusting, but it actually tastes pretty good. It's fries topped with gravy and cheese curds. So that's the standard, but you can also get other things added to it, such as pulled pork and stuff like that. It's actually so popular in Canada that they actually sell it in McDonald's and Wendy's as well. So instead of getting your Big Mac meal with a medium fry, you can get it with a poutine on the side instead. Another staple in Canada is our Tim Hortons. This is like the Starbucks of Canada, but I think it's a million times better. It's much cheaper, first off, and they sell coffee, hot chocolate. They have this really good hot drink called a French vanilla that everyone's crazy about. They also have many more drinks like smoothies, lemonades. They sell donuts, cookies, things like that. It's like a bakery type deal, but And they're everywhere in Canada, so if you ever find yourself up there, hit up a Tim Hortons and get yourself a snack. So in conclusion, I hope I've enlightened you about some of the differences between Canada and the United States, so if you find yourself relocating, you'll know how to fit in. Thanks.